But right now we're crossing over to Abosokai, where Enimado, the Adorable, is blessing the streets with herself. So she's going to be engaging with the spare parts dealers to get to understand what their expectations of the budget which is going to be presented tomorrow is. So Enima, so what's happening there?
Hi, Israel. So we're at Abosokai this morning, and we're just coming to have a conversation about the concerns of the spare parts dealers when it comes to the budget tomorrow. So yesterday, a press statement was released by the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association about and Guta about the issues that they are concerned with when it comes to the benchmark value that has been in the news for the last few days. So joining me is Mr. Eric Otri-Entry. He is the PRO for the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association. And I just want him to go through the press release for us and, of course, talk about what the expectations are in terms of government's response. So good morning, sir. Thank you so much.
Good morning, my dear, and thanks for having me.
Okay, so do you want to just go through the press statement with us from yesterday?
I think briefly, the press release that came out yesterday mainly has to do with the government's intention to scrap the benchmark value. And then, as we all know, the benchmark value came in existence in 2019, you know, after the agitation by the business community. It just didn't come up. We fought for it, and then the benchmark value came just to help businesses from collapsing. Yeah.
Okay, so are you worried about what the implications will be if this benchmark value is scrapped?
Yeah, certainly. I am worried, and I also believe that all Ghanaians should be worried, in the sense that the effects of this scrap will be terrible for all Ghanaians, I must admit, because as we all know, freights currently are very high. Freights are very high. The dollar, as we all know, is also going up. COVID has also hit us drastically, and we are now somehow recovering. So, not to even forget about, the high interest rates that probably the government is doing quite well and bringing it down. But even if at the state in which it is now, if we compare our interest rates on loans, is still higher than what our neighboring countries are being offered to their citizens. So if this benchmark value, which is cushioning Ghanaian businessmen, cushioning Ghanaians, because Ghanaians buy, and even the AGI, they are kind of lobbying for this whole thing to be scrapped. And it marvels us that how could a sister, a private business entity kind of lobby to the extent that the other party should suffer. Meanwhile, they also import materials, they also enjoy this benchmark value. But if they come out with some weird reasons to say that we are kind of collapsing or we are not helping for their business to flourish, and in other words, they are also trying to do same to us. But we don't even have that intention. But ours here is such that we will bring in goods, sell the goods at a very, very low prices that Ghanaians can patronize. We are not thinking of making any extraordinary profit, but for the citizenry to be free. That is what we as citizens or we as businessmen, we are fighting for.
Okay, Eric, so I think some of the arguments have been that why should we import things that we can produce? So, it's okay if we take away this benchmark value, then maybe we will feel like we don't have a choice but to produce some of these things. But I mean, honestly, do we even have the capacity or the infrastructure to produce these things? And is this the best way to encourage, business people to go into production?
Well, I think that to some extent, I may agree with you. But for now, our system is so poor that we don't even have that capacity to even produce. There are some basic things like toothpick that we import into this, chewing gum, biscuits, matches, not even talk of even walnuts. We can't even produce it. So what is the government helping us? Men, polytechnics, technical universities are coming out with innovations that they are not even getting assistance. But yet still, as Ghanaians, as people, we must survive. There are things that are so essential that we need it. And if we can't produce it, we have to then import them. All these things has put pressure on our currency. These are basic things that they all know. There are things that they know. They talk about this entrepreneurship and whatever. They are so basic that everyone knows, but the will to do this thing is not there. So it's something that I think that if government focuses on that area, it will help. I, for one, I like the free SHS, but if it had started with those in a vocational school, I think that would have even helped this country very well than going into this degree thing, this, as we all know, administration, BSc, administration, finance, and those. Whilst the technical school, that this manufacturing of toothpick, chewing gum, biscuits, they are all technical. Fashion and all the other things. So if those things were looked at, I think that would have helped this country far better than creating more unemployment situation in the country.
So Eric, you have a shop, and I'm looking around. Lots of the things in the shop, I don't understand what they are for, but obviously it has to do with cars. How many of the things in this store in Abossey Okai are produced in Ghana?
It's so pathetic to say that not even a curtain. A curtain that we put in these goods, not even a curtain is produced in this country. Everything we in here in Abossey Okai is imported from other countries. So there are other things like even farm belts, this moist guard rubbers. They are petty things.
We don't produce them here.
That even these rubber companies could have want to go into it. All those things, they are not being produced here. We have to import everything. Obviously, certain things will put pressure on our currency. As we all know, even today, dollar here, I just asked this morning, and it is 6.3.
It was 6.14 on Friday.
This morning is 6.3 here in Abossey Okai. And we sit here, and people from Niger, Mali will determine our dollar rate for us. It's so pathetic. At times, we sit and we talk about this thing, and we just don't know what to do. You go there, and a foreigner is trying to determine your rate for you. Obviously, he can't do that alone with the connivance with officials of the Bank of Ghana and other banks. I think that the government should really sit up on certain things because it's really getting out of hand.
So if the dollar is 6.3 and this cushion is taken away, how will we fix our cars?
My dear, if this cushion is taken away, for me, I don't see the need for government to sit down for the business community to close their shops or to demonstrate. To me, I don't see the need. I expect the government to see reasoning with us that if this benchmark value is scrapped, there will be chaos. Because obviously the prices, for all we know, it's about 50% we're talking about. So if 50% is taken off on our duties, obviously our prices, if not double, then it will get nearer to we doubling it. Yeah.
Because I think what it means is that if, for example, it's cost you 100 cedis to clear something, if this is taken away, it may cost you, let's say, 140 or 150. So that will be passed on to the customer. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like a very good idea. So what are you expecting that government's response will be to all of these arguments?
To me, I think that the government should not listen to what the AGI is saying, I believe that the government, the good intentions that the government had to bring in that policy, he should still stay on focus. She should still stay focused on today. And then secondly, I also believe that he came for the people. If the government need money to develop this country, it's not on just taking off this benchmark value. The government can widen its tax net by making it friendly, making it accessible for business community to pay their taxes. And more so, the government can as well also go help businessmen to go into this minor products where businessmen can produce certain things. It's things that we need them on a daily basis. But if we end up importing these things, I don't think it will be well for us.
My last question, do you think that we have enough confidence in Ghanaian producers or the industry, the Ghanaian industry, so that if they are producing these things, we will buy them? So you know that, okay, this is a made in Ghana fan belt versus this is a made in Germany or a made in Tokyo fan belt. Do you think that Ghanaians will choose the made in Ghana products?
Well, I think that if they do it and do it well, Ghanaians will buy. There are some products that comes from Nigeria especially, and some other countries we do buy. Because one, we don't even have anything closer to them to lie on. So we end up buying such products. Besides that, I think that the government can also help businessmen and women who really want to go into manufacturing, like this moist guard rubbers, like this back rubbers, like all those rubbers, on cars, materials like this seat covers. There are some petty things that we need. The government can help businessmen to go into such areas so that we won't end up importing certain things into the country. To me, I think that the government can, if he really has a will to do it, like as it did with the free SHS, he can as well do this.
Okay, well, thank you very much for speaking to us. And you've heard how generally, the Spare Parts Dealers Association feel about the possibility of the scrapping of the benchmark values. The question now, of course, is to scrap or not to scrap. Israel, I'm going to come back to you for a few minutes, and then I can go out there and speak to some of those who sell here. So back to you, Israel.
Much Enimwa Enimado, who is blessing the streets with herself, the adorable Enimwa Enimado. Now